Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, respected parents, administrators, honorable heads of departments, teachers, and my fellow students. Today is no ordinary day. Today, the stage becomes a bridge between ideas and action, between dreams and reality, between the voices of today and the change makers of tomorrow. Welcome to TEDx. TEDx is not just an event, it's a movement. It's a celebration of curiosity, creativity, and courage. It's where ideas worth spreading come to life. Ideas that have the power to inspire, to challenge, and to transform the way we see the world. The TED in TEDx stands for technology, entertainment, and design, three fields that continue to shape our future. And the little x, it means that this is an independently organized TED event created by passionate people right here in our community, who believe that powerful ideas can begin anywhere, even in the hearts and minds of students like us. Every speaker who steps on this stage today carries more than just words. They carry a story, a spark, a message that might just awaken something within you. Because that's what TEDx is truly about. Not only sharing ideas, but igniting change. So, as we begin this incredible journey together, I invite you to listen, not just with your ears, but with your hearts. Let each idea challenge you. Let each story move you. And maybe, just maybe, let today be the day an idea changes your world. Once again, welcome to TEDx, where voices rise, ideas shine, and inspiration begins. Thank you.
From Kenya to Colombia, from Iraq to Korea, in slums, in schools, in prisons, and in theatres, every day people gather at TEDx events around the world to hear the best ideas bubbling up in their communities. Today, you are part of a global conversation about our shared future. So what is this TEDx? TEDx is a TED conference, a non-profit devoted to ideas worth spreading. We grant free licenses to allow TED-like events to spread globally. This event today is based on the TED conference format and ideals, but is independently organized by your local community. So please make sure to thank the team of so hard on today's event. It's their ideas, dedication, and time that made it all possible. It's they who booked all the speakers. And the views you'll hear today are, of course, those of those speakers, not necessarily of TEDs. But we hope their talks spark an exciting conversation among you. This is a day for curiosity and for skepticism, for openness and for critical thinking, for inspiration and for action. The more you enter into it, the more you'll take out. And now, on with the show.
I never thought that packing a few boxes would change my entire life. But that's exactly what happened when I moved to Riyadh. At first, it felt like another family decision. New city, new house. But deep down, I had no idea that this move would test me, shape me, and eventually discover who I really am. My name is Zaid Tanji, and this is my journey. Before the move, my life was normal. I knew every street in my neighborhood, every corner store, and every familiar face at school. It felt safe, predictable, like I had everything figured out. And then, suddenly, it was time to leave it all behind. When we arrived to Riyadh, everything felt different. The streets, the houses, the buildings, the way people talked, even the air felt new. I remember the first time walking into my new school. Everyone had their own groups, their inside jokes, their shared memories, and I felt like an outsider. At home, I missed my old friends and my old school. There were days where I didn't want to talk to anyone. I kept wondering, why did we have to move? Why did my life have to change? But slowly, something started to shift. I began learning my way around the city, found some spots that felt like mine, a cafe where I'd go with new friends, and a park where I'd just breathe. The real turning point happened one afternoon when I realized I hadn't thought about my old city all day. Instead, I was laughing with my new friends, planning a project at school, and enjoying where I was. That's when it hit me. This challenge wasn't here to hurt me. It was here to grow me. Moving forced me to step out of my comfort zone, meet new people, adapt to a new environment, and discover strengths I didn't know I had. Moving to Riyadh taught me one of the biggest lessons of my life. Change feels scary, but it's when growth happens. Many people think that change takes something from us, but it actually gives something, a chance to become someone we could never be if everything stayed the same. Here's the most exciting part. I'm only 15 years old, and this move had already transformed me. It came from the spirit of Riyadh, the energy of the city that is growing, building, and dreaming bigger every single day. Prince Mohammed bin Salman's Vision 2030 isn't only about technologies and skyscrapers. It's about people. It's about us, the young generation from every nationality, who are now inspired to grow, to change, and to become something more. An opportunity to become stronger, more productive, and more empowered. Moving to Riyadh was a big adventure, and I'm ready for more. Because if this city has taught me anything, it's that the future belongs to those who are brave enough to change. Thank you.
Zaid, you went first, and you were really amazing, to be honest. I've really enjoyed your speech. So could you tell me, what did you learn from this experience?
Thank you so much. It was an honor. It was an honor to be here. Actually, I learned that every challenge or every change is uncomfortable at first, but it's when growth happens. Moving to Riyadh taught me how to adapt, stay patient, and have an open mind. When I use it in the future, I'm going to use it with something new. When I'm afraid of doing something new or a new change, I'm going to remind myself that every challenge and every growth has a challenge.
Thank you. Keep shining and keep learning. Very good.
Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, it's such an honor to be here with you today. I'm Yamin Shubat and I want to tell you about a moment that changed my life. Not a big flashy moment, no plane crash survival or sudden lottery win, just a quiet ordinary day that flipped something important inside me. I was a fourth grader and like many people, I thought I knew a lot. I had strong opinions, especially on things like what success meant, how people should behave, and who I thought I was. One afternoon in SSE class, our teacher asked a question about the life of our beloved Prophet Muhammad. I raised my hand confidently and gave my answer. I was sure I was right. My teacher looked at me for a second, then he said, "You're wrong." I expected him to explain where he misunderstood me, but he didn't. He actually told me, "I want you to research this tonight, come back tomorrow and teach the class the correct version." So now this might not sound as a life-changing moment, but here's what happened. I went home that day, a little embarrassed honestly, and I started reading. And as I did, I realized I hadn't just missed a detail, I had totally misunderstood the context, the people, and the purpose behind one of the most important stories about Prophet Muhammad. And that was the day I learned something that changed me. Being wrong is not the end, it's the beginning. Since then, I've made it a habit, a life rule honestly, to check my certainty. Whenever I feel really sure, I ask myself, what if I'm wrong? And more importantly, what could I learn if I stop trying to be right and start trying to understand? Here's what that mindset has done for me. It has made me less afraid, because if being wrong is okay, even valuable, then I don't have to be perfect. I just have to be willing. It has made me more curious. I read books and talk to people I used to disagree with. It has made me a better listener. Instead of preparing for my next argument, I listen to understand. So why am I telling you this? Because we live in a world right now where being right has become a kind of armor. On social media, in school debates, even with friends, we argue to win, not to grow. But I'm here to tell you that growth lives on the other side of being wrong. Imagine what could happen if more of us said, I never thought of it that way. Can you tell me more? I could be wrong. Let me check. We'd have fewer arguments and way more conversations. We'd replace cancel culture with curious culture. And more importantly, we'd discover that being wrong is not the end, it's the beginning. Being wrong doesn't make you weak, but it makes you brave enough to evolve. I'll leave you with this. That one moment in SSE class didn't teach me a lesson. It taught me a mindset, one that has made me a better friend, a better student, and even a better version of myself. So, the next time someone tells you you're wrong, don't panic, don't defend, just get curious. Because you might just be standing at the edge of a new understanding, a new you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Yemen.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so could you tell us how did you feel?
Actually, at the beginning, I felt a bit nervous, honestly. But once I started speaking, I focused on my idea and felt more confident. It was amazing to see the audience engaged and responding to my ideas.
Actually, your speech was really amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Good morning, Yasser.
Good morning, teacher.
How does it feel today?
I'm feeling pumped. I'm really excited.
Really good. So, how does it feel presenting in front of the audience today?
I feel really honored, to be honest, to be on stage and delivering my message to the younger generations. I hope I can deliver something good today.
I'm really confident that you're going to deliver an amazing speech today.
Inshallah. I hope I don't disappoint you.
So, break a leg.
Inshallah. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Yasser Ghazal, and I'm here to tell you a story of mine. When I was 5 years old, I had my first performance ever in front of a crowd. Tiny me, holding a little paper in my hand, I thought I was ready to speak. Until I looked up, and all I saw were eyes all staring back at me. They were waiting, they were judging, and they were expecting. And I froze, naturally. My brain malfunctioned, and my legs felt like jelly. And I remember thinking, maybe if I stood still a little longer, maybe no one will notice I even exist. That was the first lesson about fear. And as I grew up a little more, I started to notice something. Those people who see us confident, those untouchable ones, those people who go on stage and talk for hours and hours without any fear, turns out they feel the same thing. Artists, public speakers, anyone gets nervous before every show. It's a human feeling after all. A study from Harvard says that 85% of people get nervous before they get on stage. Let's take Michael Jordan, for example. He is considered one of the greatest athletes in NBA's history. Missed over 9,000 shots in his career. He later said, that was the thing that made him succeed. See, the fact is, confidence isn't about the absence of fear itself. It's about maintaining that fear. It's about controlling it, to learn to move with it. See, myself, I consider confidence as more of a measure. You measure that fear of yours, that frightening, maybe I will screw up something, with that control of yours, and you combine them together with balance, you get that confidence. It's a skill that I think everybody should know about. Another fact about confidence is, confidence isn't about those ordinary papers, you know, not about those deepest words or your perfect words, actually. It's about being true. Speaking from true honesty, speaking from your heart. It's about that connection. Connects the public speaker with the audience. Now, that scared 5-year-old version of me is now standing up to you to tell you something valuable. Not all of us here are fearless, but everyone here can be confident. Thank you, everyone. I hope you had a great time. I'll keep you with the rest of the speakers. Thank you, everyone.
Assalamu alaikum. What if I told you this little cube changed my life? Imagine this exact moment was a reel on social media. If it didn't grab your attention the first couple of seconds, what would you do? You'd scroll down, right? That's the world we live in today. Fast, impatient, addicted to instant answers, no time to wait, no room for process, just results. Now, my name is Rakan, and here's my story. When I was young, I was restless. I couldn't sit still for more than 30 minutes. I was bouncing between apps, games, videos, starting things, never finishing them. Focus, that was impossible. Patience, this was something from the past. And honestly, I thought I didn't need it. But living like that left me scattered. I was chasing distractions, but not building anything real. One day, I saw my uncle casually solving this cube. It seemed like magic. So I asked him, could you teach me? He smiled and said, of course. The first time I tried, frustration. I wanted to throw it across the room. But something inside me whispered, stick with it. So I did. Day after day, move by move, and something surprising happened. I was not just learning the cube. I was learning how to slow down, how to be okay with not getting it right away, how to sit still and keep trying. Eventually, I could solve it faster. But the real win wasn't speed. It was the lessons the cube taught me. Focus, postpone rewards, and patience in a fast world. I realized something powerful. Attention is like a muscle. If you don't train it, it gets weaker. But if you practice, especially when it's boring or hard, it grows stronger. And suddenly, challenge stopped scaring me. I started enjoying things that took time. Puzzles, strategy games, even long books. Because I was not chasing quick wins anymore. I was training for something bigger, resilience. And it's not just me, science agrees. A study by Microsoft in 2015 showed that Generation Z's average attention span during lectures is now just 8 seconds shorter than a goldfish. Psychologists call this the dopamine effect. Quick likes, quick views, quick rewards reward our brain for constant stimulation. But when we delay gratification or pleasure, like practicing the cube or sticking with a long-term goal, we activate the prefrontal cortex, the part of our brain responsible for focus, planning, and problem solving. Stanford's famous marshmallow test in 1972 showed that kids who learned to wait for a bigger reward grew up to have better self-control, better careers, and even better health. So every time you resist the urge to give up, every time you keep going when it's tough, you're literally rewiring your brain for success. So here's my message to you. Slow down, let go of the pressure to be instantly great, stop swiping past things just because they take time. Pick up something that challenges you, something that frustrates you, something that makes you want to quit, and do it, because the smallest things can teach you the biggest lessons. This cube didn't just teach me how to solve puzzles, it taught me how to solve myself. Thank you.
Hello, Ruwaid.
Hello, Mr.
So here you are again. This is not your first time at TEDx, right?
Yes, it's. I participated last year. I'm lucky to be participating this year, and
How does it feel?
it feels like I'm excited, to be honest.
So how have you prepared this year for your TEDx speech?
I prepared for my TEDx speech, by diving deep into my message and making sure it reflects who I am and what I believe in. I practiced not just to memorize the words, but to feel every part of it, so that when I'm on stage, it's authentic and from the heart.
I really can't wait to see what you have prepared. Thank you so much.
Thank you, mister. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and undercover superheroes. Quick question. When was the last time you did something small? Like holding the door for someone, sharing your notes, or letting your friend copy your homework even though you also got it wrong. True friendship right there. Seems small, right? But here's a twist. Small doesn't mean insignificant. Hi, I'm Adhwa'a, and for most of my life, I thought you had to be someone huge to make a difference. You know, like a president, a billionaire, or at least a person who can walk into a room with their own dramatic theme music playing. But spoiler alert, you don't need fame, money, or theme music to change the world. You just need small moments that remind people they matter. Let me tell you a story. Last year, I was having one of those days. You know, the kind where the universe seems personally offended by your existence. I forgot my homework, spilled juice on my shirt, and then tripped in front of half the school. Classic. I sat there thinking, great, I'm basically a walking disaster. But then, out of nowhere, a classmate, someone I barely talked to, handed me a little note. It said, rough day, you've got this. 5 words, that's it. But it completely changed my mood. It reminded me that someone noticed, someone cared. That tiny act of kindness, it stuck with me way longer than my embarrassment did. And it got me thinking, what if changing the world doesn't start with big gestures, but with small moments? Think about it. A single spark starts a fire. A single drop makes ripples. And a single text from your mom saying we need to talk can cause a full emotional breakdown. See, small things are powerful. The problem is we underestimate the power we already have. We scroll through videos of billionaires donating millions and think, cool, I can't even donate my fries. But here's the truth. The world doesn't need everyone to be rich or famous. It needs people who care enough to do something small. Because kindness, it's contagious and way more powerful than it looks. A compliment can save someone's confidence. A quick message can lift someone's day. Even something as tiny as saying thank you can remind someone they actually matter. Let me give you an example. Have you ever heard of James Harrison? Probably not. He's not an influencer or a Marvel character. He's just an ordinary guy from Australia who donated blood every few weeks for 60 years. That simple act ended up saving over 2 million babies. 2 million. And to think, I get tired just giving up my Wi-Fi password. Now imagine if every one of us did our own version of that. One act of kindness a day. Nothing fancy, just the small stuff. Hold the elevator. Help someone carry their books. Compliment your teacher's new haircut, even if you're not sure they got one. Will the world change overnight? Nope. But it will start to shift. Slowly, gently, beautifully. Because here's the thing. The biggest changes often start quietly. The loudest kindness doesn't need applause. And the smallest acts, they echo the longest. When you choose kindness, you start a chain reaction. You might not see where it leads, but somewhere out there, someone's day get better because of you. Tomorrow, do one small act, just one. Hold the door, compliment someone. Or, if you're feeling extra brave, smile at that one person who always seems like they hate everyone. They might just smile back, or they might not. Worth a shot. Because even if the world doesn't notice, someone will. And that someone might need it more than you'll ever know. So let's stop waiting to be big enough to make a difference. Let's start being brave enough to care, even in small ways. Because when enough small acts come together, they create something extraordinary. And that, my friends, is how small things create big change. Thank you.
Good morning, Ali.
Good morning, mister.
How's it going?
Great.
Okay, I'm sure that you're going to do well today, right?
Inshallah, yes.
So, if I may ask you, who or what has inspired you in crafting your speech today?
It's my father. I hope I can be half the man he is or as successful as he is. And I'm so excited to go on stage.
I'm really sure that your father will be proud of you today. So as I do.
Inshallah, mister.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Do you ever feel like 24 hours just aren't enough? No matter how hard you try, time just slips away. I used to feel that way every single day. My name is Ali Amjad Mubarak and I'm a senior in Adhwa'a Al-Hedaya school. Not long ago, I thought I had no time for anything. No time to study, no time to work out, not even time to sleep. I was exhausted, frustrated, and convinced school was the main problem. But once I looked at my life, I realized I wasn't busy, I was distracted. So I made a decision that changed everything. I deleted social media, stopped playing video games, stopped watching football matches, and I even stopped watching movies and series. Not because they are bad, but because they were taking from me more than they were giving. And I'm not saying this is what everyone should do, but for me, it was transformative because they drained my focus, my motivation, and my time. And at first, it was hard. I felt empty, bored, restless, but slowly, that emptiness turned into something beautiful. Space. Space to grow, space to think, space to live with purpose. I started studying, started working out, started learning something new, and for the first time in years, I started sleeping well. Before that, I used to stay up past midnight, watching football matches, scrolling through social media, and was shocked when I couldn't get enough sleep or couldn't focus in class. But now I understand why. And here's the truth. The problem isn't that you don't have time. The problem is how you're using it. And yes, people tell me my life sounds boring, but for me, a productive life, a life full of purpose, is way more exciting than a life full of distractions. And don't get me wrong, it's okay to have fun sometimes, but it's not okay when it's your full-time job. And yes, scrolling through social media is not that great, and it doesn't give any benefit. And here's my advice to you. Sit with yourself, think, what's taking your time? What's stealing your focus? Control it and change it. Set goals, small ones. Pray on time, work out, read. Even sit with your parents. Try getting off social media for a week or two, or even limit it for 1 hour a day. And you'll be shocked at how much you can achieve and still have time for yourself. And trust me, every hour you waste today is an hour big you have tomorrow. Every hour you waste today is an hour big you have tomorrow. Thank you for listening, and I hope you take a moment to reflect, reset, and figure out your life. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello everyone, my name is Bara Hadid. I'm a senior in Adhwa'a Al-Hedaya schools. Let me ask you all a question. Who here doesn't have a bad habit they want to change? Everyone does. For me, it was my phone. Every time I had a bad day at school, every time I was stressed or bored, I had this urge to take out my phone and scroll on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever it was. But over time, I realized it was taking a lot of my time and energy. So I decided to change. With observing my behavior and some research, I found out my brain was repeating the same cycle over and over again. A cycle called trigger, behavior, reward. Your trigger is something emotional or instinctual, whether hunger or boredom. Your behavior is how you behave after this trigger. And your reward is the pleasure from your behavior, whether it's being full after a huge meal or the dopamine spike from scrolling on your phone. So, how can we use this to change our bad behaviors? First, we can't change our trigger. It's impossible to change human emotions like stress or sadness. What we can change is how we react to those triggers, your behavior. The first step is emotionally detaching from this behavior, realizing that it's bad for you and that you don't want it in your life. A Brewer City study showed that smokers who emotionally detach from smoking are 50% more likely to quit smoking than those who don't. One of the people in this study said that after observing her behavior, she found out that smoking tastes like chemicals and smells like crap. The step after emotional detachment is replacing our behaviors with something more beneficial to us. Let's take Abdulaziz as an example. Abdulaziz is a very heavy smoker. One day, he went to his doctor and he gave him very strange advice. He told him, every time you have the urge to smoke, drink a glass of water. Abdulaziz took his advice. At first, he didn't see any difference. He kept smoking, but drank more water. But over time, something amazing happened. His brain started attaching the pleasure of cigarettes and nicotine with the glass of water. What made that change easier is his emotional detachment from smoking. His brain subconsciously wanted to go away from smoking and replace it with something that his brain actually enjoyed. And that's what I did. I started replacing my phone with walks, going to the gym, going out with friends, even reading books. And over time, I found it easier to put my phone down and focus on stuff that was actually beneficial for me. And that doesn't only apply to me or Abdulaziz. It can apply to everyone, from the biggest to the smallest of habits. All it takes is some patience and some hard work. My name was Bara Hadid. Thank you all for listening.
But personally, I have enjoyed your speech. So is there anything you would do differently?
Thank you so much. If I could do it again, I would take my time more with the speech. It was so amazing watching the crowd's engagement and their words after the speech was amazing, and I really enjoyed the experience.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Abdullah Hikmat, and I want to talk to you about my first year in high school. I still remember I had that excitement and fear feelings mixed together. I remember walking through these halls, trying to fit in, trying to be myself. But from a bad luck, I was put in a bad class environment. But of course, I tried to catch up with the ones who have good manners, who will help me. But me, I couldn't be myself. I couldn't be the guy who used to be. First term passed. I still myself. Why I'm like this? Because I realized I kept pushing everyone I love away. My friends, my own family. But I kept trying, of course. But here, the point. Let me ask you something. A guy who isolated himself, who kept pushing everyone he loves away. What do you call him? He's absolutely drained. So I kept trying to get help, to get the help I need, the cure. I tried to get it from the closest one to me, my older brother. I really appreciated everything he did for me. But he couldn't give me the cure I needed. The cure that will get me back to who I used to be, the Muhammad I know. I remember the last day in high school, I tried to catch up with my friends. Remember the one who I pushed? I tried to catch up with them. I still remember they asked me to hang out with them. I was overwhelmed. I know you're gonna say it's silly, it's something ain't that important, but for me, it was something else. We hanged out, everything, we went to the coffee shop, we had fun. For me, that day was the best day in high school, first year. Because that day, I truly felt myself again. After everything I went through, just imagine in just one day, I got cured from everything I had in 1 year, and with improvements, of course. With the same mindset, but with different, improvements. So my advice to you is, no one is perfect. Not me, not you. Nobody in this life is perfect. Don't close up on yourself. Just be yourself. Be yourself and improve. Because many successful people, many famous people, had obstacles, who has odds. But they beat it. Because, you gotta face it, but you can't escape it. Be yourself. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you all. My name is Abdurrahman Al-Khatib. I'm 15 years old, and today I want to share with you my journey in martial arts. A journey that has completely changed the way I understand life. It all began when I was just 7 years old. My father took me to a Muay Thai club. At that time, I didn't really know what Muay Thai was. All I knew was that it looked tough and maybe even a little scary. But my father told me, this will help you. You will learn discipline, you will learn strength, and you'll learn how to defend yourself. The first few weeks were difficult. I remember coming home tired, sometimes bruised, sometimes even questioning, why am I doing this? But as time went on, I started to enjoy it. Training became part of who I was. After years of practice, when I turned 12, something exciting happened. A tournament was announced. For the first time, I would test everything I had learned. I felt ready, confident, maybe even overconfident. My coach gave us strict rules, a diet plan, and endless drills. At that age, it wasn't easy. Imagine being 12 years old and saying goodbye to your favorite snacks just to make weight. But I pushed through. Finally, the day of the tournament came. The hall was loud, crowded, full of energy. Fighters warming up, coaches shouting instructions, families cheering. When my name was called, I stepped into the ring. My heart was beating so fast. At first, I told myself, you've got this. But then the fight started. My opponent was taller, stronger, and more experienced. I took punches. I gave punches back. I dodged. I tried everything I knew. The fight was close, very close. But in the end, I lost. In that moment, I felt crushed. Have you ever felt like all your hard work just vanished in seconds? That's exactly how I felt. For weeks, I lost interest in the sport. I even thought maybe Muay Thai just isn't for me. But then, my father stepped in. He reminded me that failure is not the end. It's the beginning of something greater. He said, if you truly love this, don't give up. Use this loss as fuel. And so I did. I trained harder than ever before. I studied my mistakes. I pushed myself in every practice. I learned that success isn't about talent alone. It's about effort, consistency, and patience. 1 year later, another tournament came. This time, when I stepped into the ring, I wasn't just confident, I was prepared, physically and mentally. The fight was intense, but this time, I won. And the feeling of victory was unlike anything I had experienced. Later, I joined 2 more tournaments, one in MMA and another Muay Thai tournament across the kingdom. And thankfully, I won both. Each fight taught me something new, not just about martial arts, but about myself. And that's when I realized life itself is like martial arts. You'll get knocked down. You'll face opponents who seem stronger, challenges that feel impossible. But if you stand back up, if you keep going, if you never give up, you will find your victory. So, I want to leave you with this question. What's your fight? Is it in school, in sports, in a personal dream? Whatever it is, just don't quit. Because defeat is not the opposite of success. Defeat is part of success. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, my name is Yusuf Snowball. Teachers in school tell us to study Unit 1. You go home, read it over and over again for 2 hours, and you call it a day. Then, the next day, your teacher gives a pop quiz about that unit. You think, great, I studied that unit yesterday. This should be easy. But the first question comes, and your mind goes blank. You can't recall a single word. Has that ever happened to you? You study so hard the night before, but your mind betrays you. That used to be me. And I don't mean just once or twice. I mean almost every single time. I thought I was not smart enough. I thought that my classmates were just naturally talented, and I was not. And I started to believe that no matter how much I tried, I would never be good at studying. But I was wrong. You see, after my midterm exams last year, I wanted so badly to make my parents proud. I wanted to enter the house holding a report card full of high marks. But when I actually saw my marks, they were terrible. I remember sitting there, staring at that piece of paper, feeling this heavy weight settling in my chest. I thought I had failed, not just the test, but myself and my parents. So I did what anyone my age would do. I opened Google and literally typed in how to make your parents proud. And do you know what kept popping up again and again? Studying efficiently with discipline. So I asked myself, okay, so how do I actually study efficiently? Because nobody ever teaches us that in school. Teachers tell us what to study, but never how. So I searched up that too, and that's when I struck gold. Not real gold, of course, but the kind of gold that changed lives. First, active recall. This was the game changer. Instead of just reading the same page for 3 or 4 times, I would close the book and ask myself these questions. Okay, what did I just read? Can I explain it using my own words? And of course, the first time I got it wrong. But here's the secret. When you force your brain to recall, it builds memory like a muscle. And every time I got it wrong and tried again, that's when it actually started to stick. Second, environment. I used to study with my phone near me, notifications popping up every 2 minutes. And guess what? I've never actually studied. I was just switching between TikTok and my book, telling myself I am being productive. But when I cleared my desk, placed my phone in another room, and gave myself a simple goal, like just finishing these 2 pages, suddenly, the same hour of studying gave me 5 times the results. And finally, preventing prolonged study hours. For years, I thought studying meant sitting there for 3, 4, or even 5 hours straight. And the whole time, I was just staring at the book, pretending. But when I learned about short, focused sessions, like 25 to 30 minutes long, and then a 5-minute break, which is called the Pomodoro technique, and for me, it was revolutionary. My brain was sharper, my focus was deeper, and I didn't burn out in the first hour. So here's my message. Studying isn't about how many hours you sit with a book. It's not about memorizing until 2 a.m. and hoping it sticks. It's about the tools you use, the environment you create, and the way you train your brain. If I can turn failure into progress by just changing how I studied, then so you can. Thank you.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Muhammad Asmar, and today I want to tell you my story. The story that changed my life, the story that changed me, that changed Muhammad, who is standing in front of you today. So if you don't mind me asking you, what was the thing that changed your life, and why was it? If you ask me, I would probably say that it was the IRC competition in China, International Robotics Challenge, the hardest robotics competition in the whole world. So it all started in July the 15th. Me, a 15-year-old boy, and my teammate, a 14-year-old boy, we started to train for this competition, and we had only 1 month to train. And we did a project, and our project was Alzheimer watch, a watch that helps Alzheimer patients. And we didn't have enough time. Only 1 month to do a smartwatch and also helps Alzheimer patient isn't enough at all. And we faced a lot of problems. Like we didn't have time, the language. In China, they don't speak fluently English. They only speak Mandarin. And also, we were young compared to other participants in this competition. Everyone was university, 17, 18 years old, and we were only 15 and 14. But I faced a problem which no one else in the team faced. I applied for my visa to go to China, but they didn't approve it. I lost all my hope for becoming the world champion until one day before the competition. They told me that they accepted my visa, and I will go. I was so happy, I was so excited. I haven't felt like that in my life. All my hope of becoming the world champion came back to me again. Then we headed to China, 6 days before the competition, and we had our opening day. The opening day is a day which everyone represents his country and do a speech for it, and I was the one who will represent Saudi Arabia. Alhamdulillah, I did a very good speech, and it was perfect. And the next day, we had the competition day, the most important day in my life for me. I was so stressed, I was so nervous. I couldn't sleep at night. I woke up 3 times because I was just overthinking, stress, and like that. But the day came. We headed to the competition place, and they told us that we have 5 hours before the competition starts. We thought that we had time, but we were absolutely wrong. These 5 hours felt like 3 seconds. We were so stressed. We were the 3rd team to represent their project. We waited for 30 minutes.
Then everyone came, 3 judges, 3 translators, and a lot of crowd. We started our presentation. It was perfect, alhamdulillah. And they have 10 minutes to ask us. We were so stressed. 10 minutes of asking, just asking, just asking. So nervous. Alhamdulillah, we answered every question unless one question we had it wrong. But it's not bad, it's okay. Everyone said that we did perfect, we are good, we will inshallah win. Even the head judge took our coach in a corner and told him that we were so good and we were so perfect. And also another judge came to my coach and took his WeChat. Why? Because he wanted to call us when the results came. We waited 5 hours for the result. Then the results came. We were shocked. We got 6th place in the world. We didn't accept that. Like in the worst situation, we thought that we will get top 4 to get top 6, but lost to 0.6 of a point for top 3 in the world. But they said that it's okay, it's not a problem. Then I reviewed the marks. 2 of the judges gave us a very high mark, but only 1 judge gave us a very low mark. And we saw other teams, the same thing. Every Arab team in this competition was given by this judge a very low mark. And it's a robbery. She wants the Chinese teams, the Thailand teams to win. But alhamdulillah, our academy did for us a celebration in China and in Saudi Arabia. Then we headed back to Saudi Arabia, and inshallah we will continue our journey. And I have next week a competition. In the next year, I also have a USA competition in the USA. And I have qualified it for it already. And I want to send a message for you. Act globally and think locally until you reach your success. And thank you.
My greetings, everyone. My name is Hamza Hussam. To begin, I want every one of you to ask yourselves one question. Have you ever been into an embarrassing situation where you couldn't do anything to handle it? I'm sure every one of us have been in such a moment at some point. Embarrassing moments are practical lessons for each one of us to learn how to act better in the future. And I'm here today to share with you my personal experience. It was a bright morning in 2nd grade, and I was filled with excitement because in that day, my class was in charge of the school morning broadcast for the first time. And I was given an important role to recite a prophetic hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. To me, it felt like a big honor. The past night, I was supposed to memorize the hadith. I practiced it once or twice, but then I got distracted by playing video games. I thought myself, I will continue memorizing it the next morning. However, morning came faster than I expected. Between waking up late, rushing to put on my clothes and eating breakfast, I completely forgot to look at the hadith again. Can you guess what happened next? Well, after I have arrived at school, the teacher called our group to the microphone. My heart was pounding. I was still confident, but that was until it was my turn. My classmates spoke out their roles first, then I was handed the microphone. And suddenly, all of the words that I had memorized the night before completely disappeared from my mind. I froze. I didn't know what to say. I tried to remember the first line, but my mind was completely blank. The teacher beside me reminded me with the first line, and I repeated it, but I still forgot the next part. My classmates behind me began to look nervous. Some of them whispered, trying to help me remember, but it didn't work. Finally, the teacher gently took over and finished the hadith for me. As we were walking back to the class, I could feel everyone's disappointment. Some of my friends told me, "You ruined it." They weren't really angry, but I could tell they were upset because our first broadcast didn't go as well as we hoped. I wanted to disappear for the rest of the day. However, my teacher after that smiled at me and said, "It is okay. Everyone forgets sometimes. What matters is that you have tried." Her words made me feel better. I realized that embarrassing moments happen to everyone, and the most important thing to do is to learn from them. After that day, I promised myself that I wouldn't talk in front of an audience unless I was prepared. Despite this being one of the most embarrassing mornings for me at school, it also happened to become one of the most important lessons that I have learned. That was my story. I hope that you have learned something. Thank you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're doing fine. Before I start my speech, I'm gonna ask you a quick question. Why do you think people always think negatively? I'll answer you. So, these thoughts comes to our subconscious minds. It's a bad habit. And the reason of it is that you always compare yourself to others. Don't compare yourself to others. Always compare yourself to the last version of you. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't walk on their path. Create your own path, your own legacy. Write your own story. Comparing yourself to others will lower your confidence. Always compare yourself to the last version of you to make your confidence higher and your strength better to continue. For example, I'm Yazan al-Boushi, and I was a person who always used to think negatively. I changed, but when I used to be negative, I used to get depressed in meaningless things, such as performing bad in video games, my favorite sport, love, meaningless things. So, if you asked me back then, where do you think you're gonna be after 10 years? I wasn't able to tell you. I couldn't see a clear plan. Everything was blurred. Then, I changed. I became positive. I could see my future. My performing and studying, working, maybe workouting, everything I love in general, improved. And now, if you ask me the same question, where do you think you're going to be after 10 years? I'll tell you, easy. I can see myself graduating from one of the biggest universities in Riyadh and maybe in Saudi Arabia as a reporter. After it work in a small media channel, then get hired in a bigger media channel, then why not to serve my own country after I get the expert that I need in this field? Serve my country, be an important person there, and effect on people. Change things in my country. Create history. That seems hard and may be impossible. But for me, I'm not even able to feel the hard in it. The difficulty now, in my dictionary, is not in my mind. So, when you have something, we should always look at the positive side of it. And we must have a side look or a small look at the negative side, just to be careful and safe from bad things that may happen. Exactly as a shield. I'm gonna tell you a small story, a short story. I was this close not to participate in TEDx. But then they gave me another chance after I knew I deserved standing in this red carpet. And I think I'm gonna prove myself, and I won't let them down. And now, standing on this red carpet, in this brilliant and big event all over the world, is my first step of becoming a reporter. Now, standing on this red carpet is my first step to walk on my own path, write my own story, and creating my own legacy. Holding a mic, talking to people, speaking, and affecting on others. So, nothing is hard. If you put what you want in your mind, you're gonna do it. Just be positive. Life is not worth all this negativity. Be patient. So, please smile and be always positive. As I said, life is not worth all this negativity. I hope this won't be the last time talking to you. We may see each other in the future as maybe serving the country, working in a media channel. I promise I'm gonna do it. Just pray for me and good luck. Smile, be positive. Thank you for hearing me. Good luck.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Hamza Rashid, and I want to ask you all a question. Does anyone here know what the silent definition of success is? When I was younger, I thought success was about trophies, medals, ranks, the things people could see. But then I grew up a little. I faced exams that didn't go as planned, projects that went unnoticed, matches I lost. And that's when it hit me. Success isn't always loud. Sometimes it whispers. It whispers when you study alone at 1 a.m. when no one's watching. It whispers when you train, enduring the pain because you want to be stronger. It whispers when you choose peace over anger, effort over excuses. Let me tell you a story. Last year, during training, I injured my ankle. Just a week before an inter-school match. I was devastated. Honestly, I wanted to give up. Everyone told me to give up. They told me, try again next time. But for me, there was no next time. Not because I wanted to prove something to them, but because I wanted to prove to myself that I was capable of pushing through the pain. Every day after school, I grabbed my stuff and trained. No coach, no teammates, no crowd, just me, the ball, and pain. I remember limping across the field, telling myself, you can stop when it's perfect. It wasn't easy. I messed up drills, missed shots, but soon enough, I became better. Finally, match day arrived. I wasn't 100%, but I gave it my all. I remember defending like my life depended on it. And when the final whistle blew, I realized the true victory wasn't that on the scoreboard. It was the fact that I didn't give up, even when I wanted to. This helped me realize success isn't a destination. It isn't a place you reach once, plant a flag at, take pictures with. Success is a habit, not a moment. And if you really want to build success, truly build it. Here's what I've learned. Number one, choose dedication over motivation. Motivation fades away when you're feeling tired, lazy. Dedication doesn't care how you feel. Number two, embrace loss. Now this doesn't mean you should allow yourself to lose. This means you should learn from these losses because a loss can teach you more than a win ever could. Number three, surround yourself with people who remind you of your goals. True friends won't compete over your success. They will just fuel it. And finally, don't compare yourself to where people have arrived. Compare yourself from where you started. If you compare yourself to others, you might win once, but if you compare yourself to your own self, you will always come out victorious. Now, if I could wrap all this up in one short, sweet line, I would tell you, success isn't built in a crowd, it's built in silence. Thank you, everyone.
Hello, everyone. I have a story to tell you about a race. Not a marathon, not a sprint, but a race with a different type of finish line. When I was 11, track and field was my life. I lived for the feeling of my feet on the ground, the wind wash, the burn in my lungs that signaled I was pushing my limits. I was good, and I was hoping for a college scholarship. The goal was simple: win. The biggest race of the year, a regional championship, was my key to gold. I trained harder than ever, pushing my body to the edge of breakdown. My coach called me the machine, a name I wore with pride. On the day of the race, I was focused. I remember the crisp sound of the starting gun, the blast of energy out of the blocks, and the talks with friends and the blare of other runners. I was in front, running well, when disaster struck. There was a sudden, searing pain shooting up my leg. It was a hamstring tear, the worst nightmare for any runner. I collapsed onto the track, a scream of pain and frustration tearing from my mouth. The deafening crowd and the sound rush of other runners, all of it vanished. My race was over, and so, it seemed, was my career. The following months were a blur of physical therapy and a general sense of loss. My athletic identity, one that I had developed over the years with such precision, was lost. I was lost, aimless. The finish line that I had been striving for so long was lost. But in the quiet of my recovery, something shifted. I was forced to slow down. For the first time in my life, my days were not dedicated by practice schedules and racing times. I began to notice the small things. The sensation of the sun on my skin, the intricate patterns of the leaves, and the talks with friends that were not about running. I began to develop other interests. I picked up a paintbrush, I learned to play the guitar, and I began volunteering at a local animal shelter. These were not activities I was doing to win or be the best. I was doing them because it made me happy. Because it made me happy. The finish line I'm running today is not a finish line to beat anyone, not even myself. It's a race to show up one step at a time and delight in the new horizons that emerge along the journey. So I'll leave you with this. We all have aspirations, and we all run towards the finish line. But what if we've been doing it all backwards? Thank you very much.
Ala, your speech was really excellent. I'd like to congratulate you for that.
Thank you so much, Mr.
So, okay, Ala, while presenting your speech, what was the feedback that you have received from the audience?
This is the feedback I received, but genuinely encouraging and insightful. Overall, my coach and the audiences highlighted the clarity and passion of my speech, which was very gratifying to hear, as I worked hard to make sure that my speech was delivered clearly.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr.
Hello, Rakan.
Hi.
Ready for today?
Of course.
Today is your day, right?
Exactly.
So, what have you prepared for the audience today?
I would like to say that standing in the same spot of your life won't get you anywhere, so you should give it a shot. Try something new. You never know what will happen with you, and that's all.
I'm sure that you're going to do well today. Thank you.
I hope so.
And good luck.
Thank you.
Hello. My name is Khan.
That's how I was. My name is Rakan. And here's my story. It all started 3rd grade, Adhwa'a Al-Hedaya schools. I never knew how to speak. Had few friends, got bullied every single day of the year. Coming back every single day, crying. Going to a public park, coming back home crying. It felt so hard that I couldn't move on. Couldn't do anything about it. Saddest moment of my life, having few friends and not be able to speak to them. It felt so hard, so difficult. Never expect myself to stand up on the stage and speak freely, out loud, without being feared. having the full confidence to speak to people that I don't know. One day, my mom went to the school and spoke to the teachers. She was like, Le'ra can participate in some random events so he can go on with his friends and get some new friends and, you know, break the fear, get some new experience in his life. The teachers were like, yeah, okay, sure, why not? It was all good. So one day, we had one event, you know, 3rd grade, standing up on the stage, doing some stupid roles, speaking just for the camera and, you know. So they told my mom that we have that one event, so you might like your child to participate with us. When I knew that I will play the main character of the role, I was in shock. I was like, are you serious right now? You want me to play the main character and I can't even speak to my own parents? How is that even possible? I never expected myself to stand up on the stage from the first moment. You want me to stand up on the stage and talk to people that I don't know out loud and play the main character? I was in shock. They gave me the sheet, I memorized it. It's not about the sheet, it's about standing up on the stage and speaking out loud, freely, without being scared. The day came, stood up on the stage, did the performance. It doesn't matter how did I perform. What does matter is that in that moment, my life took a different path. Everything changed. I broke the fear. I had this new charismatic. I figured out how to speak out loud. After that year, it doesn't matter how I performed. First time, it was bad. Second time, it was better. Third time, started to get more and more, you know? It all started from this stage. So what I like to say at the end is try new stuff. Give it a shot. Standing up in the corner for the rest of your life won't get you anything. Try new stuff. Stop being scared of trying. You won't move anywhere if you didn't try new stuff. You might be the best footballer, but you're scared to go and try. You're wasting your talent. You're wasting your time by not trying. That's how I end it. I would like to thank my mom for everything she did. And thank you all for listening. Have a great day.
As we come to the end of this inspirational TEDx event, I would like to thank each and every one of you for your presence. Actually, your presence made it special. I would like to thank the parents for their support. I would like to thank the staff members for being behind the scene. And for sure, I would like to thank our talented students for their brilliant speeches. Thank you very much.
بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. اللهم اخرجنا من ظلمات الوهم والجهل إلى أنوار المعرفة والعلم، ومن وحول الشهوات إلى جنات القربات. طبعا التحدث مهارة أصبحنا في هذا العصر نفقده. أنا سعيد جدا بهذا العدد الكبير من أبنائنا اللي وقفوا وتحدثوا أمام زملائهم وأولياء الأمور. أنا فخور جدا بهم. طبعا التصفيات كانت كثيرة، أنا كنت حريص أنه الجميع يطلع، حتى أعطينا الأستاذ ممدوح قلت له خليه يطلع، خليه يتكلم، خليه يتحدث. طبعا كان المشاركين كثيرين، وأيضا بإذن الله سبحانه وتعالى سننتقل العام القادم أو قد يكون الترم القادم إلى المرحلة الابتدائية. سيخرج أغلب عدد من الطلاب على المسرح حتى لو أمام زملائهم ويتحدثوا. فالتحدث ومقابلة الجمهور هذه من مهارات يسمى مهارات الناعمة، وهي متطلب، وبدأوا أبنائنا والله الحمد في الإذاعات أمام الطلاب، وهي من الاستراتيجيات أيضا التي نتبناها داخل الحجرة الصفية. فجزاكم الله خير، هنيئا لكم بهذه النخبة وهنيئا لنا بهم، فجزاكم الله خير.